So today, we want to start this series off by talking about one of the most simplistic parts of working with automation. I'm going to go to this next slide. And in here, this is a workflow that or data flow sheet that I had put together, kind of let us understand or even visualize what it takes to create an Inventor configurator. So all the different projects that I've worked on with many different customers, this is like the fundamental, this is the breakdown of what it really takes in order to do something like this. Now, if we start over here on the left-hand side here and focus on the blue sections, let's not worry about the black sections, but the blue sections right now. Everything really kind of revolves around this center section here, the business logic, and the business logic can take the form of a number of different things. It can either be iLogic, you can use the Inventor API, but really it's all about the intelligence, right? The knowledge of what it is we're trying to produce. If you work in an automotive industry, you have different standards and guidelines and knowledge specific to that particular industry. If you're working in medical equipment field, there's specifics and standards and knowledge involved with that as well. So everything is all around that knowledge. From there, these other aspects kind of lend itself and they work together with that knowledge. So keeping that in mind, any type of configurator that we will be creating, and particularly in these series, we're going to be touching on all of these different aspects. How to interface with the logic. What does that look like? Typically, that might be a UI, a user interface of some nature. It could be the interface inside of Inventor. It could be a custom interface. That is yet to be determined as we go through this process. Another aspect is a data source. Now, a data source can take shape of either, it could be a SQL server, it could be an Access database, it could be an Excel spreadsheet, it could be a text file, an XML file. Basically, it's a location where we can store very specific information unique to particular configurations that we want to either write to or read from at particular times through the process. And as you can see next to there, that information, that data source can be fed either by our business logic or it can be fed by some other external business system. So really unique and interesting concepts revolving around that. From there, we're going to be leveraging the Inventor application, and this is going to be our configuration engine. This is where everything kind of happens. We use an interface, we feed information to the business logic, and then we push all that information to Inventor, and then it churns that information. It does something with it. It processes it. And then from there, we get some level of an output. Is it a configured component or a configured assembly? Is it a formatted drawing set? Is it some sort of PDF output? Whatever that might be, that's going to be done and processed by the Inventor application. Now, the Inventor application, with all of that information, leverages our Inventor library, our IPTs, our IAMs, our IDWs and DWGs. And these could be something as simple as templates that are already out there that we're going to be leveraging, or they could be partially configured models or other models that we just want to use and consume through our process. So that's really the overall scope of what it takes to build some sort of configurator and the flow of that information as it works through that process. All right, so some of the things, so particularly what we're going to be talking today are just about the model. So going back to this previous slide here, let me go back here to this previous slide. We're just going to be talking about what it takes to work with this Inventor library, okay? What does it take here? What do we need to do to take into consideration our IPTs and our IAMs and our IDWs or DWGs typically? But let's just focus on the actual models right yet.